In 170 AD, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius waged a lengthy and grueling war against the Germanic tribes. His legions, outnumbered, ravaged by disease, and enduring harsh conditions, faced immense challenges. Amidst this turmoil, one of Marcus Aurelius's most renowned quotes emerged: "The universe's change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Displaying unwavering Stoic resilience, Aurelius rallied his troops, ultimately leading them to triumph against the odds. This story powerfully illustrates how adopting Stoic philosophy can help us withstand and conquer even the toughest adversities through shifts in perspective. At its essence, Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control external events, we can govern our judgments and reactions. By directing our focus inward, concentrating on our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we cultivate inner strength, self-mastery, and the capacity to face any challenge with equanimity. Ancient Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius developed an enduring framework for living a life of virtue, resilience, and freedom by distinguishing what is within our control from what isn't. In this video, we'll delve into essential Stoic principles and strategies that will empower you to remain strong regardless of life's challenging situations. Through inspiring stories from renowned exemplars and everyday life, we will learn to reframe our perspective on adversity, build inner grit and self-control, accept what we can and cannot control, find meaning and growth in difficulties, and ultimately, live as a wiser, more resilient version of ourselves. If you're ready to embody the teachings of this ancient yet profoundly practical philosophy, let's embark on our journey into the tenets of indomitable Stoic strength. Chapter 1. Reframing Our Perspective. The universe's change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. The first and most fundamental Stoic lesson for staying strong lies in how we view and respond to difficulties. Our perspective shapes our entire experience of adversity. Consider the example of Muhammad Ali, one of the most iconic and resilient figures in sports history. In 1967, at the peak of his boxing career, he was drafted into the Vietnam War. Ali refused to serve as a conscientious objector, based on his beliefs and opposition to the war. This decision led to him being stripped of his heavyweight title and boxing license, and he was even sentenced to 5 years in prison, which was later overturned. To the outside world, Ali's situation seemed bleak. His fame, career, and future were in jeopardy. However, Ali responded with a Stoic mindset, stating, "I'm not going to be what you want me to be." He reframed his perspective, embracing this challenge to his principles. During his legal battles, which lasted nearly 4 years, Ali spent his prime athletic years outside the ring. Most would have seen this as a devastating setback. Yet with Stoic resolve, Ali used this time to spread his message, inspiring millions worldwide with his courage and conviction. His apparent tragedy was transformed into a platform for his greater purpose. This ability to reframe our viewpoint is immensely powerful when faced with adversity. Challenges like failure, betrayal, or bullying become more manageable when we shift our perspective. Stoics are not discouraged by external circumstances, but forge meaning from them. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the universe's change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Some practical techniques to reframe your perspective in a more resilient, Stoic way include: practical example. Imagine you have been passed over for a promotion at work that you felt you deserved. From a conventional perspective, this could be a significant setback, unfair, demoralizing, and a roadblock to your career goals. A Stoic would approach this situation by separating what is within their control from what is not. While you can control your work performance, attitude, and efforts, the ultimate decision about promotion is out of your hands. There is no benefit in feeling resentful or angry about something outside of your control. Next, view the situation from a broader, impartial perspective. Is this a catastrophic event or just a temporary professional disappointment? Remind yourself that this is a small part of a much larger journey. One setback does not define you or your capabilities. Then, rewrite the narrative in your mind more rationally and resiliently. This provides an opportunity to have an open conversation with my managers, get feedback on areas for improvement, and renew my efforts. This single decision does not dictate my value and prospects. Finally, contemplate how you wish to respond going forward. Will you let this discourage you or motivate you to work harder and respond with grace and humility? A Stoic would display virtues of self-discipline, reason, and stability in the face of this challenge. By reframing your perspective in this versatile, adaptable way, you transform a setback into an opportunity to practice Stoic resilience. Over time, taking this wise approach becomes a bulwark against adversities, large and small. Chapter 2. Strengthening the Inner Self. No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do. Epictetus. At the core of Stoic strength lies inner fortitude, cultivating our reason, self-discipline, and virtue to remain unshaken by external forces. This principle is personified by the iconic boxer Mike Tyson's life journey. In his prime, Tyson was the most feared man in the ring, demolishing opponents ferociously. Yet outside the ring, his life spun out of control into a vortex of excesses: drugs, alcohol, misguided attachments, and volatility. Tyson lost his way by his admission, becoming enslaved by his undisciplined desires and impulses. Stoic philosophy helped Tyson rebuild himself from the ashes of his fallen empire. He said, "Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it." Tyson embraced the Stoics' relentless pursuit of self-mastery over our judgments, emotions, and will. "Make the mind, toughen it up," became Tyson's mantra, grounded in Stoicism's core ethos of using our reason to rule over destructive externals. This mental fortification enabled him to shed toxic attachments, regain his discipline, and re-emerge as a more grounded, purposeful individual. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things. Epictetus. The Stoics recognized that true freedom and resilience arise from within. No external circumstance can overpower you without your judgment's consent. By mastering our mind's interpretations and desires, we avoid being enslaved by misfortunes or temptations that drain our resolve. In modern life, we face innumerable battles that test our fortitude. Insecurity from societal pressures, addictions to fleeting indulgences, and grief from profound loss. Lasting strength surfaces by continually fortifying our inner citadel of reason and integrity. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. This journey begins with diligently reflecting on the virtues and principles you wish to embody: prudence, justice, courage, and temperance. Then, remain unwaveringly committed to living by that code, regardless of allurements or adversities. With a Stoic spirit of self-discipline and determination, we transform philosophical theory into tangible fortitude. Through the ages, those who weathered the roughest storms were rendered unbreakable, not by circumstances, but by their unconquerable mind. Developing our inner fortress in the Stoic tradition allows us to emerge victorious in our struggles for resilience. Chapter 3. Taking responsibility for what we can control. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Epictetus. A profound key to Stoic resilience is distinguishing what is within our control from what is not, and aligning our efforts accordingly. By consciously accepting the limits of our influence, we preserve our energy and calmness when facing life's inevitable adversities. One of history's most potent exemplars of this principle was Emperor Marcus Aurelius himself. As a Stoic philosopher, he navigated personal tragedies, political turmoil, and military conflicts that constantly tested his resolve. Yet his writings in Meditations remind us to make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Aurelius couldn't control the untimely deaths of 7 children and his wife. He couldn't control uprisings, plagues, or hostile forces threatening Rome. However, by mastering his perspective and reactions, elements within his control, he ruled with grace and wisdom during incredibly turbulent times. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. In our modern experience, much of our suffering arises from attempting to control things beyond our reach. Corporate battles that spiral into obsessive grudges, toxic workplaces we remain in begrudgingly, social media ridicule that hijacks our self-worth. Applying the Stoic dichotomy of control, we recognize that others' behavior, circumstances at our jobs, and public opinions are not ours to decide. What we can control is our intentional response. Will we act with integrity, courage, and kindness, or indulge in unproductive lamentations? We have 2 lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. Confucius. This quote aligns with Stoic thought. When our reputations are publicly impugned, we cannot halt the flow of misinformation. However, we can maintain our virtuous character and conscientiously share the truth. If we lose our jobs unexpectedly, we cannot dictate the actions of others. Only our skillful adaptation can do so. A profound internal liberation occurs by separating external events from our mind's judgments about them. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on philosophy, personal growth, and living wisely.